Hey everybody out there, it's Mr. McWilliams and
Miss McWilliams.
And we're your art teachers, and we thought it would be fun, or at least something good to make, is one of these masks. We're going to make mine first. It's the easier one of the two, and my wife has the more difficult one of the two. What you're going to need is some fabric and some stretchy bands. We're going to talk about that. Look at this. Oh, anyone recognize that artist? Who's the artist?
Charlie Harper.
Right, he's from Cincinnati. So this is the one we're going to make. Mrs. McWilliams is going to post a more complicated version later. But first, let's do a Corona joke. Hey, where's Waldo Corona edition? You see how there's no one on the streets? Ha 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 ha! Okay, any rate.
Okay, another thing to say before we get started is you can make extra masks and donate them to hospitals.
That's right.
This is the one that's actually preferred because it goes over the N95 coronavirus mask that actually protects more of your face. And you can see that it fits over more of my face than the other one.
And if you really have a sewing machine at home and you want to do something that really help out, that is something you can help. This mask is more just for wearing out to give you slight protection.
Or if you're sick.
Or if you're sick and you don't want your brother, sister, mom, whatever, this is that mask. So we're going to do this one and that one, and we're going to do two videos. But first what you're going to need is some fabric. Now the fabric they suggest to use is a high thread count. This came out of my son's shirt. It was hanging in his closet. It was too small for him, a Batman shirt. And then I have two pieces of other fabric, which is from a sheet. Yeah, or pillowcase or sheet. And this really those are what they suggest using. Isn't that correct?
Yes, but they also suggest putting a piece of flannel in between. So this is some flannel here in between my three pieces.
And again, we didn't go out and purchase this stuff. This was stuff that we had, kind of pillowcases and stuff that were on the way out.
This was an old curtain I had.
Yeah, it was. It was in our kitchen. Okay, so first thing you're going to need is 3 pieces of fabric. And my wife says this is backwards. We'll see.
6 by 9.
6 by 9. So I cut out a piece of paper. I found it made it easier for me to lay my paper on my fabric and draw out with pencil to cut it out. But anyway, you need to have 6 by 9. Now, I know that seems really large, but remember, we're going to be putting these pleats in there, and that shrinks it down.
The fold is going to make it a lot smaller. So you can see that's just one fold.
Right.
That's very small.
And it'll actually, if you have a smaller face, you can make these pleats bigger. Or bigger or longer so that your mask is shorter and that kind of stuff. So you can modify it to fit you. The other thing you're going to need is 2 7-inch
pieces of elastic.
Now you could probably use something else, or Mrs. McWilliams on her advanced mask didn't even use elastic. She made her own
fabric ties. And that's another way to do it. Now you're going to need probably a pair of scissors, some thread, some straight pins, and a needle and thread as well. That's what we're going to use. We're going to hand sew the first version, and then we're going to machine sew the second version so that you get both ways.
So this is going to be a project you can work on, and we're going to stop the video now, and then we're going to do a close-up of mine and hers. Okay, here's a close-up of our fabrics that we cut out. We have 3 layers. Remember, 6 by 9, 2 pieces, 7 inches of these elastic things. Now, you can use a tape measure, a ruler. You might have a lot of stuff around your house, but that's basically the basic idea. Now, the first thing is I took this, was my son's shirt, not a t-shirt, but a dress shirt, and I cut it out. So we're going to have to take that, because we're going to inside out this later. So you actually sew it like that, because when we inside out it, we want the nice
What about the back side? Does it matter on the
Well, for me it doesn't, because I have patterns on both sides of the fabric, but for you it might.
Yeah, so I'm going to inside out both my back sides.
The first thing we're going to do is figure out where these things go. Now, some people pin them and sew them. You can still use a sewing machine, but I think that this is a good way of doing this, is to start with putting your elastic on here, holding it with a straight pin, and then hand sewing it. Because I'm always afraid when using a sewing machine that I'm going to hit the needle with the sewing machine, but that's just me being paranoid probably. And you want to bend it like this so it curves. So I actually, see, I grab it straight and then I curve it in. And you kind of want to get towards the top. Say about 1 inch. Remember, 1 inch is roughly your thumb. If you're a smaller person, it may be more than just a thumb. this is the first step, is to pin these two things down here.
And have an adult help you if you are nervous about the straight pins.
You know, right now, we're trying to find fun things to do with our kid, and also just each other and things like this, and finding interesting projects to do that might be helpful and useful. And this is what we came up with. I would love to hear if you guys have ideas too, of things to do, of crafts and things that you can do around your house, which is stuff that's around your house. So now I have mine already pinned on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it this way, okay, and I'm going to stitch. Now I got needle, thread, and I didn't give myself that much thread because I feel like having too much makes it kind of unruly a little bit. And so now I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to stitch this in really fast because I don't like, when I use a sewing machine, I don't like having those needles in there. So it goes to the knot, and it kind of stops there. I'm going to make sure I get this nice. The first couple always take a while. Okay, so what we did is we stitched up just the elastic things on there. We're going to do the whole side part later. If that was confusing, I'm sorry. Because when we do the pleats in there. So here's really where you want to sew. You want to sew from here to here with the sewing machine. Or hand sew, it doesn't matter. And then a gap. See how there's not sewed right there? And then down. Because when we do the pleats later, that'll sew up the sides. So if you want to hand stitch this part here to here, leave a space, hand stitch all the way here, leave a space. That's what we're going to inside out this thing later so that the Batman is not facing in, it's facing out.
Okay, so I'm going to stitch this on the sewing machine that's from school. And if you don't have a sewing machine, again, you can hand sew this part. The speed is way up high for some reason. And now I'm going to speed this video up for you. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do with the elastic on the sewing machine is I'm going to use a zigzag and I am going to backstitch over it a couple times. Oops, went the wrong direction. I already had it on backstitch by accident. You can rip out your stitches with a seam ripper. But I'm just going to keep going because there's a little bit, enough of a hole there. And the other thing I'm doing is I'm going to round my corners and make a little dart on the sides, just so that it's a little bit more comfortable to wear. Okay, I'm going to back stitch this again. Go back over the elastic and stop. And then go back over it again. So that it's really well stitched in there. Cut my strings off. And I want to back stitch over this one more time and then I'm good to go. Because I forgot to do this one here. Okay.
All right, these are both our masks. This is the one with the Batman, and this is the other one. My wife has a nice pattern on it. And we're going to inside out these now because we want to have the interesting part of the fabric out. So you want to make sure you give yourself enough space that you don't sew, so it makes it easy enough for you to inside out it. And this is one of those things that I'm not that good at. So I like to give myself a little more room. And if you need to, if it's kind of tight, you can use a pen or something as well, or a pencil with the eraser in. That way it's not pointy, and it kind of grabs the fabric, and you can get it inside out. And once you get it inside out, see I'm almost there, then you'll grab those parts you're going to hook on your ear. And
Elastic.
Elastic. And you want to do the corners. Now, my wife, when she sewed hers, she cut out some material on the corners. It's probably going to make hers look nicer. I'm betting.
Sometimes if you smack it a couple times, it comes out easier.
And I'm going to pull out my elastic, which I can never seem to remember the name of. And now I have this really,
oh,
there we go, square with the elastic. And now it's time to do the pleats. Okay, so I still have some stuff here in the corners here I got to get out. And maybe I might take it over the iron it. But there we have our beginnings of our mask. The last step is going to be taking these and you fold it like this, and then like this. You'll pin these down. You only need 2 of them. And then you can sew it, and it'll hold those in there and making it look, and you can kind of see this on the pattern here a little better on this one, how it has these pleats like that. So one fold here, one fold here, really just 2 folds. That's on the back side. Of course, we haven't done that to here yet, but you pull these out, probably get some pins, fold it like this. Boom. If you want it smaller, you make your folds larger. So here's one of the masks, and it's open like this. We've already ironed a little bit to kind of get the pleat in there. We use just a fold, and then you pin it down to help hold it so that you can sew it. And of course, you want to make these even. And what this does is it helps open, tighten the mask around the side of your face, and then you can expand it over top of your nose. There's 2 pins in here, and then we take this and go in the same direction. And again, pin it. So I would show you the other one, but it's actually, because it's black, I think it's harder to see what I did. And then, of course, the last step is to either hand stitch it or take it over to the sewing machine. You just go here on the edge. It doubly gets the elastic in there, and it closes the ends up. Take the pins out, and you're done.
okay, everybody, here's the finished product. And now that I've done this, I would probably change it because that was my first time making this mask. Because it doesn't quite fit around my ears very well. So I think I would do it a little bit bigger and a little bit different.